All right, good morning, everybody. Today we're gonna be continuing on the MobX series, and this time we're looking at the in-depth React usage. Yeah, beforehand we already had a look at the overall structure, how to use MobX, and then also a little bit more advanced storing mechanisms with data structures. So if you haven't already, please check them out. Yeah, also, as always, there's a GitHub repository, also linked down below. But yeah, you can just go here and check out the finished code if you want to. Okay, yeah, I think we can jump right in. I am, as I said, I'm continuing on the code that I built up in the last two videos. So this should look familiar. Now, for the usage with React, the most important thing is to wrap your components with Observer. Okay, well, we do have our stores, whatever these are, whatever values they hold. As soon as you import them and use any of the observables, remember, observables are created automatically with this one here, with this call in the constructor. So by doing this, coins automatically becomes an observable. Same goes, let's say, for the settings, right? If I have the time format here, call make auto observable, time format becomes an observable. Observable is a concept in MobX, obviously. And then if you use any of those in the code base in your React components, you have to declare your component an observer. Otherwise, MobX wouldn't know when to update the component, and React itself doesn't know anything about it either, because yeah, that's not part of the normal life cycle or anything, or the normal React mechanism. Okay, and this also applies to any child components that that use these observables. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a coin component. So I have, let me actually show these here. So I have my list of coins with name and price and the date it was updated, or the time it was updated. And this is simply in line here, right? So now I want to extract that and put it into a separate component, which is a good idea anyway. And then I can show you what I mean. So I have that, and I'm just going to pass a coin, and I'm going to return this here. Okay. There we go. We don't need the key here, as this is not in the map function. Okay, well, did I miss anything? I don't think so. So now let's go ahead and import that here. Import coin from coin, and then we're just going to return a coin here. Then also we need to pass the coin and make that self-closing. Very good. Something's wrong. Let's see what's wrong. Moment is not defined. Okay, there we go. I should probably set up ESLint here, well, globally, but yeah, anyway. Let's see, setting store is not defined. Okay, also gonna use this in here. And there we go. Back to working. Well, not working, because now it's exactly the point that even though the prices would update, right, it was working before, I'm simply passing it to the coin component, the value. So the value is inside of that, right, the price. So yeah, even though I get that value, it's not being updated when the requests go through. Let me just click all, right? And then you can see I do send these requests, and they come back correctly, but this is not being updated. So the fix is to wrap your component in an observer, and you get that from MobX React. Okay, now when I save that, let me reload that. When I save and reload, now the price is being updated. Okay, so remember, most important thing, as soon as you have anything observable, if you're accessing anything observable in your component, you have to wrap it as an observer. Okay, what else do we have? Well, we do, yeah, once you have that, you can basically do anything you would expect React to do, or React component. So if you do, let's say, if you want to have an effect, right? You have an effect, coin.price, right? And then I'm gonna say coin.name price has been updated, because I mean that's like limited. It doesn't make too much sense to have that here, but because you also see it. But still, this here sometimes the price stays the same, and then yeah, just gonna log that. So yeah, if you use observables, you can also use them in any of the hooks or whatever you're used to with React. Okay. Next up, so right now we're only accessing values, right? Well, we do have this toggle time format, but I'm gonna add some more here. I'm gonna remove, actually no, I'm gonna leave that here. I'm gonna have, let's say I wanna make them favorites, right? So let's say I wanna have those. If I let's make a button or something like that, and then if I click on it, this is going to be a favorite, and then if I click on it again, then it will not be a favorite anymore. Okay, so I'm just gonna anticipate, I'm gonna have a style object and say coin is favorite. Actually, let me go with this background color. Actually, no. So what I want to do is put the background color to green or something like that, and then put the color to white. Otherwise, the contrast is going to be messed up. So coin is favorite, and then pass an object, and then background color. I'm going to use something that I have saved. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and then color. Okay, well, here just quick hint. If you have this color highlighting installed and you're wondering, and sometimes you have a hard time deciding, okay, should I use white as color? Usually you use either white or black or like a dark gray. So this plugin already shows you what the best color would be, right? So you see here, there's this the background highlighted, and then the string itself, the color value is white, the foreground color, the text color, right? If I have another, well, yeah, the other example would be here. If the background color is white, the plugin determines that the text color should be black. Right, I hope that makes sense, right? But that's the way I determine, just real quick, if I should use white or dark text color for a specific background color. And I'm not sure, it's color highlight or something like that. Yeah, color highlight is a plugin. So if you install that, it's very easy if you just like playing around with some colors to find the correct contrasting color. Okay, back to our example. So I'm anticipating to have a variable is favorite, right? And if that is true, then I'm just assigning a background color and the normal, and then a different color, text color. Then I'm gonna have a button, let me star. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, looks amazing. Okay, and then maybe since that is a line, just gonna have a little bit of space here. Okay. Well, actually, let me put that in front because because that way it looks a little bit better. Actually, okay, there we go. Okay, now now we need to implement something to, well, first we need the variable, and then we need to implement something to change that, to turn that to true and false. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the store. In this case, it's a coin store. I'm gonna have a variable is favorite, and by default it's false. Okay. Maybe like this. Yeah, probably that's the case. Okay. Well, now that I have the favorite, let me actually put it to true and see if it's working. Okay, if it's true, then all of them are favorites by default. That's not what we want, but the styling is working correctly, so that's great. Now, we want to connect that with our button click. So I'm going to go back to the React component, and then I want to toggle that when I click on the button. So add an on click on the button, and then the simplest way we could do this would be to just say coin is favorite is coin dot is favorite. Okay, and that works apparently, right? We're simply changing the value in the store. Now, even though that might work, I would not recommend doing that. Why? Because first, it's not great to have assignments or more extended logic or logic declarations in your component, right? You want to keep them pure, right? You don't want to put too much responsibility into this component, right? In this case, it's fairly simple, but let's imagine you have an API call and then you want to change an array or an array of objects, some subfields of that. I don't know what, but then you would have like 10 or 15 lines of code, and putting all of that into the component is not a great idea. So that's the first point why you should always put that into the store, right? The second thing is, if you staying with the example, if you have an asynchronous call, MobX requires you to run that in an action. You can probably fiddle with that to have that in here. I'm gonna do probably a later video about that, about asynchronous functions in MobX. But yeah, this will give you probably some problems. So in the end, it's just easier to have, for everything that you do, you have a function, somewhat of a setter function in your class. So I'm gonna create that toggle favorite, right? It's just gonna be a class method, and then I'm just gonna say this dot is favorite is this dot is favorite, and yeah, this way you keep your components clean. Another advantage is to toggle favorite. You don't have to create an inline function, which is slightly more performant, right? It's not breaking anything, but yeah, it's just nicer to not have that in here. Okay, let's see if that still works. That's not working. Is favorite of undefined. Okay, let's see. is favorite of undefined. Maybe we need the binding. Let's see. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah, that's I mean, that's a never-ending thing, that you have to make sure that this is bound to this class, and error functions do that automatically. So yeah, that's that. Okay, let me just do everything like so. Hope that so works. Yeah, it's probably better to use the syntax for everything. Okay, well, there we have it. Now we do have our logic in the store, which is correct, and we can toggle that. Maybe one more thing. If so, let's see. Our main store holds these different coins, right? And then in the application index file, we simply map over them and put them on the page, basically. Now what we could do is, let's say we have 50 coins, or 50 elements, right? It doesn't matter if it's coins or not. And then we toggle this one. Let's say we might want to like let this jump to the top. So yeah, that everything, all the favorites are at the top. So what you're doing then is you're changing the order. And one very important thing is to not use the index of the array as a key, right? Do not do this, because once you change the order, React is going to be very confused which one to update after you change the order, right? Because beforehand, Bitcoin was at the index 0, and then Cardano jumps up to index 0, and then yeah, it tries to change, I don't know, maybe Bitcoin, even though Cardano has been updated. So yeah, in the end, never use indexes. Just use something unique. So, and oops, if you don't have anything unique, you can always create something unique, right? With our coin store, we can simply have an ID, right, and then make that a new date value of. That's the least you could do, right? Probably a better solution would be to use something like UUID, npm. There we go. Yeah, UUID, where, I mean, this is going to create a unique ID. So yeah, that would be the safer option. But if you're lazy, you can use the date, given that they're not being created at the exact same time, which actually might happen here, right? Because we're instantiating them all together. Yeah, anyway, just use something unique as a key to prevent any errors. Okay, well, I think that is it. That's the most important things about the React usage with MobX. Let me know how you liked it, if you have any questions. And as I said, check out the final repository if you don't remember anything or something like that, or if you want to have a reference. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.